little cheesy, but...
Welcome back, Chocolatiers, to another video, and in today's video we'll be covering Companion, the new film from the Barbarian creators in which a sex bot decides to go Lucy mode on her companion. And so, yeah, this movie, I want to say caught me by surprise, but it was my most anticipated movie of the month. And I just want to go right in there and say that as well. This month has been the best January, in movie wise, that I've seen in theaters. I would say in like the last few years. Like, I don't remember a time that we have gotten good movies like this. Like, you know, I'm so excited for Sinners, like all this other stuff like that. And, you know, last year we had great movies. So, like, we had Doom Part 2, like my favorite movie and stuff like that. But like in January, the only movie I saw that I hated was like Flight Risk. Every other movie was solid to okay, you know? And so it's just one of those things where when I went and saw this movie, you know, I'm a big Sophie Thatcher fan, and now I'm going to get into the plot. Basically, because of the trailer, I wish they wouldn't have showed the first trailer, or second trailer, I guess I should say. So basically, you learn from that trailer, I'm not going to spoil anything else outside of that trailer, that Sophie Thatcher is a robot, and she is kind of going through the motions, you would say, because certain things happen, which I'm not going to cover because the trailer doesn't cover. But yeah, it gets really crazy. This movie is basically like kind of like a Lucy, but not as far as like a Lucy. And that goes into some things I really, really loved about this movie, because overall I did really love it. Like, for example, her intelligence in the film, they show in the trailer that it's at like 40%. And it's like when she cuts to 100%, she's not like, oh my god, like I'm a super genius. She's just like an Ivy League grad. So like she's got common sense now. You know, she's, you know, smarter than like your average Joe, but at the same time, you know, she's not like super smart. Like, you know, it's not like that. And I really appreciate that because they had some realism to go with it too. Because like, for example, they're robots, so like they're stronger than some people, but they're not like Terminator strong. Like when they punch you, it's like gonna be metal because, you know, there's like metal behind the skin, right? But it's not gonna be one of those things where like they can super grab you and throw you 50 feet up in the air. So I kind of like that this movie at the same time is kind of grounded, right? Takes place in this house, and so just to set the stage, basically you got my boy played by Jack Quaid. And Jack Quaid is really, really good as an actor, as we already know. We know he can kind of get in those type of villain roles when he's in Scream 5, for example. And then, you know, we see him in The Boys. We see him voicing Superman. We see him coming up in Novocaine in March. And there's like a lot of good movies and shows and stuff that he plays in. And he's got a lot of good ranges we see. And so in this movie, you know, he's got Sophie Thatcher as his companion bot, and they go to this house. It's kind of like your, you know, normal stage, like kind of like a horror or thriller. They go to a house. There's a lot of people there having a party, and they go to this house. It sets the stage. They are basically kind of like run the mill as far as this stage is being set, because, you know, they go like kind of like a thriller or horror movie. They go to this house. People are having a party. It's a lot of folks there. And this is kind of where it sets the stage of like a lot of the main characters. So you get this girl named Kat, you get Patrick, some other characters, stuff like that. And this is where I'm going to stop with the plot, because there's a lot of twists and turns that take place. Especially, like I said, if you ignore that first trailer, there's a lot of, or second trailer, there's a lot of twists that you don't see coming. Really and truly, I feel like, I guess because Warner Brothers is broke at the moment, and they really couldn't market this movie, I feel like, as they wanted to. They kind of had to just be like, hey, she's a robot. But the whole time I was sitting there thinking, I was like in the time in the movie when you realize that she is, like, whenever they kind of reveal this and that, they like walk on eggshells. And I was sitting there thinking the whole time, I was like, I think my only complaint with this movie is how this movie was marketed. Because, like, literally, like, she's talking to this one character, and this one character's, you know, getting upset at her, basically saying, you know, I feel replaceable and all this other stuff and whatever because of you. And then Sophie Thatcher's talking to her, and like the whole time you're sitting there going, oh, I know why she's saying this, because she's a robot. But the whole time it's going on, like, I was just sitting here scratching my head going, you can tell that the writers wrote this so smartly to the point where they were like, yeah, we don't want to reveal that she's like a robot or whatever. Like, we want this to be a cool twist. Like, M. Night Shyamalan type twist, right? But because we already know from the trailer, from the poster, from all kinds of stuff like that, it just ends up being one of these things where it's like, oh, you know? Kind of like how Barbarian had that crazy twist. It was kind of like that. It would be like if they showed that in the trailer and they're like, hey, that's what's up. And so it was just really weird to me. It was really weird for me to sit there and watch that and just kind of, like, for example, there's another twist in the movie, and, you know, the audience actually did have a gas to that, but due to the second trailer, I was kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I kind of saw that. But outside of that, and I'm blaming the marketing team, I'm not taking no points from this movie because this movie's perfect. I've now seen it 2 times now, back to back. The day after, I took another group of people to go see it with me. This movie is just so damn good. Sophie Thatcher, she basically plays multiple characters in the movie. As far as she goes, like, different emotional states. And she is so good at what she's doing. Jack Quaid plays that perfect, like, you know, I'm kind of like a villain, but, like, I'm kind of like a piece of shit, but, like, I'm kind of not. He's kind of got this nerdy vibe to him, kind of like he does in The Boys, but it just works so well at what they're trying to go for as far as his plot, because, you know, he's not like a mastermind. He's not like this and that, but, like, he wants to do what he wants to do because he's got to get, you know, to his goal. And, you know, just sitting here thinking about how good this movie is, I was just, you know, really wanting to touch upon the fact that, you know, audiences always complain about originality. You know, like, this year we're getting another Jurassic World. I really am a big fan of the Tron movies. I really love the second one in particular. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, especially from when I was a kid watching it. And I'm excited for Tron 3. Even though Jared Leto's in it, I'm excited for it. But it's one of those things where it's like, damn, that is the third one. I'm just saying, so many sequels, prequels, whatever. And this year, I feel like we've gotten some good original movies already. With like a presence, with something like this. And, you know, my theater lost presence after 1 week. Like, they literally had it from Friday to Thursday. And so it wasn't even a full week. And it was just one of those things where, like, you know, I was sitting there thinking to myself, kind of like last year, you know, one of my favorite movies was Fall Guy. And I remember how people just didn't watch it, which I kind of blame the marketing team on that, because they marketed it very weirdly, because you're like, is it a romance? Is that, like, it was weird. But it was still one of those things where I really want to vocally put this out here. I think you guys should go support this film. It's very rare that you get a movie like this, and it's not like original, like, oh man, like a plot, whatever, because, like, you know, at the end of the day, she's a robot, whatever. But as far as everything else goes, it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, it's not a remake. It's just a really good movie that people put together, and like I said, it's smartly written. Like I said, the fact that they walk on eggshells to be like, yeah, we're not gonna reveal that she's a robot. And then you get more twists and turns. You get wonderful characters. I've loved Patrick, for example. He's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in the movie, because he does some surprising things in the film, and surprising things I really enjoyed from this character, because that's the same actor that was in Smile 2, but he wasn't in that movie very long. But in this movie, he is in the movie for pretty much the full runtime, and I really enjoyed his character a whole lot. There's a lot of comedic elements in this movie that I didn't even touch on. For example, they touch on the fact that, you know, because clearly if they're a robot and they're companions or whatever, you know, they have to have some kind of backstory, right? And those backstories are some of the funniest things ever, particularly one with another character that I think is just so funny that I won't reveal. But it's just, you know, you'll have stuff like that. You'll have, you know, crazy moments of grandeur and just all this stuff going on. And I just loved it. Like I said, I've seen it twice. First movie this year that I've seen 2 times now. And yeah, we're now going into the February season of movies. I'm excited to see what's coming out this week in particular, because we get Love Hurts, we get Hard Eyes. Now, Hard Eyes, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm actually really excited. I love a good slasher film. That's kind of what I was thinking maybe this was going to be. Not like fully, but like kind of. But this movie actually subverges those expectations. It's better than just a, you know, BS horror slasher thriller. But that's kind of what I'm in the mood for right now, especially after watching a film like this. presents. I'm kind of like wanting to tackle that aspect. And as a big fan of Thanksgiving, I'm loving that we're tackling all these holidays. Early reactions for that movie, apparently it's like it's not bad, like it's pretty good actually. And so love hurts. I love my boy Key, so I'm trying to see both of those this upcoming weekend. So if you guys are fans of those movies, wanting to go see those movies, wanting to hear my reviews, cover topics, whatever, please like and subscribe for more. And with that, I will catch you guys on the next one.
I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.